Weapon skill it is then. All right.
So, my next step then is a career change to one of the advanced careers that requires a lot of gear. Somebody, I thought, said that you don't actually require us to buy all the trappings first.
No, you don't have to buy them first, but you will need to finish the career with them.
Okay.
So essentially, you need to have all your gear from your current, is my understanding.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you how that works then, because my the gear for my current class requires a two-handed axe.
Yeah, I know you've lost it, and I've said before it's no problem. Like,
okay,
just screw it. Well, I mean, every career that you finish, you need to have a complete set of gear for that career.
Right.
Essentially.
Okay.
So you're going to become a scout now, right, Andy?
Yes.
Okay. So, for example, you don't need to have to finish the scout. You don't need to have all the gear from your current career, whatever that career is, but you will need to have all the gear from the scout career.
To finish the scout?
Yep.
Okay.
That's why, for example, it's so hard to finish a wizard career. I believe the arch-wizard requires 5 or 3 magical books. Each one of them costs 500 gold crowns.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Yeah, so
yeah, I mean the only difficult one for the scout is going to be getting a horse and then the mail shirt. But even then, a mail shirt wouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah.
It's more of just getting enough money together.
Well, you can just get mail shirt from a dead guy.
Yeah. So like I said, it's really the horse that's more than anything that's going to be difficult to get. But
yeah, I mean it's of course not very.
Who else needs a horse? Because that's also going to be
Knightly
something
carriers, pistolier.
Yeah, I know I'm
road warden. Something, people like that.
Actually, I'm a squire, so I need one to get out of being a squire.
Many Kislevite carriers require horses. If you, for example, in the realm of the Ice Queen, I think most of the carriers require horses. Okay, so everyone is ready, and by ready I mean, is everyone cool with his experience point status?
Yeah, actually, let me run to the restroom real quick.
Okay, no problem.
I
don't know if you heard me, but I took 5 ballistic skill.
Very well, sure.
I am just accumulating experience points, which I can't use at the moment.
Yeah.
Like the last 4 or 5 rounds.
Oh.
So.
Well, you have a lot of XP.
I do. Unless we can rationalize cavalry weapons or common knowledge heraldry, which
heraldry,
I don't know. I'll have to find a book or something.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of my
quest.
Rationale behind the heraldry is if I can find a noble with a library or something like that, I can kind of a book of coat of arms or something like that.
Yeah, I mean it would certainly help. So Sean, you've bought plus 5%.
Yes.
Skill, right?
Correct.
Great.
Correct. And I am. Oh, and apparently I didn't put on my character sheet my increase in ballistic skill last time.
Oh.
Oops. I don't remember if I actually shot anything, but that would be nice.
Best change it.
Yeah, I changed it on the. It's on my paper character sheet, but that not on my digital character sheet. So I just changed it just now.
Okay. Brian, and what did you buy? What did you buy?
Plus 5 ballistic skill.
Oh, okay, cool. Right. Who's making
I've had my
notes today?
swing out last.
What?
I
sorry. Jason, you're doing the notes today?
Yes, that'll be my last the last of 3
Great.
today.
What were
Who's
you
after that?
Yeah, what were you saying, Bran? Earlier?
Oh yeah, I've had my sling out the past couple sessions, but there hasn't been an opportunity to.
To
I'm actually pretty good with the sling, but Sally thinks it's a girl weapon.
Well,
But he's really good at it though.
it's a good
Does it
girl
have-
weapon. Yeah.
It's a kid's weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Leopold is a fan of the sling as well, but he doesn't have one anymore.
It should be easy to make
Probably
one.
make-
Just get
yeah.
some leather.
A patch of leather.
Well,
and
he's got a crossbow now, and he needs to get a repeater crossbow. But and actually, I need to look at that. So skill wise, I've just been taking stat buffs.
Yeah, same here. It's just easier. And plus,
Well,
I usually knock my stat buffs out right first thing, and then work on the skills. So.
Yeah, so I was doing it the other way. I was focusing mostly on skills, and then I realized that I sucked in combat. So I was like, "Oh, I need to fix that."
That said, the first thing I'm doing once I switch to the scout class is buying dodge blow as a skill. First thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That was
there
the first one I
are
bought.
certain.
The first vampire hunter skill I bought was dodge blow.
I still don't have it. I have to buy it before I finish this career, though.
I think I have 2 degrees of dodge blow.
Nice.
So that's
You could double up on it?
Well, any skill. That's
skill
what.
mastery.
Yeah. Page 90 of the rule book.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you can get up to 20%.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
that's what Mike and I were talking about when we in the chat about perception. So yeah.
So say I have a starting career, and say dodge blow it says dodge blow or this, right?
Yep.
Or like say I pick dodge blow for that, and then a few careers down the line, dodge blow is available again. Just by itself, though, do I have to take that skill mastery?
No, you don't.
No.
If you have a skill, you don't need to take it the second time.
Okay, because
But
I know there's a few I saw like that where I would have messed up my character badly if I didn't do that.
Some of them like if it really was dodge blow, it would absolutely be worth doing it. But
Yeah.
but like gamble, you could take that or not,
Or swimming.
You get really good at
Yeah.
classical language.
Or blather.
Yep.
Something that has come in hand 0 times so far.
Okay, so if everyone's ready, we can begin. I've
Yep.
checked your NPCs. Very cool, very interesting. Otto von Friedhurst. Well, mine's Yavandir, who's actually from the book itself. There's Franka Newtoomer from Aliens 2. There's Heinz Aufwick. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Did someone forgot to make his character?
I put mine
I
in
think
the notes
you.
from last. I put mine in the notes
Oh,
from last.
Konrad
time.
Fleischer. All right, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
I haven't seen him. Okay, was the butcher? Okay.
Oh, somebody put it at the very bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
I haven't read any of these yet.
Yeah, I just put mine in like 5 minutes ago, so it wasn't there to read.
Very nice.
So Michael,
very
with-
very cool characters, I must say. I love them.
With-
I like how
uh,
Brian
Franca?
did his, or I think that's Brian.
She's-
Brian did Franca.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
She's
how you
not,
wrote yours
like-
up.
I guess technically she's not part of the group, but like we've seen her. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
she's really untrusting of anybody. So I don't know, but that's what I was thinking with her anyway.
Okay, so let's begin. Last time on Terror in Talabheim, You've begun to create the resistance against the Skaven overlords, the new masters of the city. And it's not going too bad. You've gathered a bunch of people who are all willing to fight for the cause. Whether they are also ready to die for the cause remains to be seen, but, you know, first things first. These people come from all walks of life. You have a butcher, you have a baker's girl, you have a knight.
Do we have a candlestick maker?
You have?
No, it's a joke. He's a butcher, a baker, candlestick maker. It's a nursery rhyme.
Okay. Well, but perhaps you find one. Who knows?
Rub-a-dub-dub.
Yeah.
Free buns in a tub. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also, a halfling. Anyway, you've managed to create a core of the resistance. For your base of operations, you've chosen Guildrow, the southmost district of the city, and the least patrolled. The Skaven, however, are not idle, and they are doing something. There are rumors about construction sites where slaves are worked almost to death, creating something. Who knows what? Also, the Ratmen are patrolling most of the city, except the Talos. In the Talos, the forces of the Skaven sorcerer Xathrodox86's are not present, at least not in force. It also seems that the countryside is free of the Skaven, at least for now. Please remind me how many days have passed since you've created the resistance.
Thought it was a week or a week and a half.
Okay.
And I think we left off where we were about to do our first message run.
Yeah.
Back
to the Dankarut, where the remnants of Talabheim's military have retreated, including the general. Some of you were supposed to go to Dankarut, and others were, I believe, tasked with checking out the South Quarry.
Yeah, I believe Sally and Leopold were going to the quarry, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, and what about the food? Because as I've mentioned before, the food is a problem.
Maybe we were doing food first.
Lucas and I were going to drop off the message, and then on our way back, we were going to hunt.
Oh yeah.
Forest.
Okay. Didn't you were supposed to send some of your men to neighboring villages? Because to effectively feed such a number of people, you would need a lot
What's going on?
Yeah, I actually want to ask the same thing.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, I had it on.
Sounds like you're wrestling somebody.
Yeah. You would need a lot more people to hunt. And you would have to hunt for a long, long time. I mean, of course, it's a good idea, but, it's not just 4 of you now. There's a lot more folks out there who need food. And the Skaven are confiscating almost every single piece of food that they can find in Talabheim, because they believe in the age-old rule that a hungry slave is a weak slave, obedient slave, so to speak. When people are hungry, they don't have the strength to rebel.
Right.
So my question is now, what's your plan? Let's say that a week and a half has passed since you've created the resistance.
Do we have? I guess we kind of gave out tasks to everybody but our new characters. Are any of our new characters worthy of being hunters? I didn't read in detail yet through the characters, but wasn't one an elf blacksmith?
Yeah, elven blacksmith. First of all, remember two things. These people, they don't live with you. Yeah, they don't live with you. They have their own homes, to which they need to return. Especially people like Honorius Kippenberg, who's a scholar and an engineer used by the Skaven to, to help in the construction effort. Really, only Jorn, the serial killer, and Ir Gladish, as well as Tobo Randerband, are easily, are close by, so to speak. And of course Silke, the knight. But most of these people, they don't live with you, even for a very simple, because of a very simple reason. Too many people in one place means, a bigger chance of getting detected and caught or killed. The Skaven issued a rule, and not a single person in the city is permitted to carry a weapon. If anyone is found with a weapon, he or she is immediately killed, and usually devoured. So a bunch of armed people in one place, not a very good idea. You are still occupying the abandoned blacksmith's house in the guild row. The house has a spacious cellar, which you use for your meetings and planning. And I believe that on our last game you've said that you've established a form of meeting schedule with the rest of your resistance cell. So you know where they will be present. You know where to expect them. You've also given them missions to accomplish. Like finding Gennaro, for example, and finding out what the Skaven are building, and where, of course, is the Skaven sorcerer Asorak. So let's say, for simplicity's sake, that right now you are all in attendance. It's a week and a half after the formation of the Resistance. All the major resistance figures are here. Remember that these people also recruit their own men. Not all of them. For example, Jorn doesn't do that, and Newt certainly doesn't do that. But Silke, Karsta, Yrl, even Tobol, the halfling, they also establish new contacts. But right now the main resistance figures are here. The command group, which is you, are here. You are gathered around the table, upon which there is a map of Talabheim. For simplicity's sake, let's say that it's the map that we use on Roll20, the bottom one, and the top one. It's early morning. Outside there's chill. You are all rather cold and stiff because, of course, it's not a very good idea to, light fire inside the house because of the smoke. The Skaven could easily detect that. Your men are looking at you expectantly, waiting for orders.
Have they given their reports for their current missions yet?
Yes, they have. Someone check the notes and tell me what each of them were supposed to do. And I'll tell you whether they've succeeded or not. Right now, I believe you haven't given them any missions like assassinate this or
No, if I remember correctly, it's been all evidence. It's been like all evidence gathering at this point, I think.
Yeah,
I think so.
So I guess going down, I don't know if this is in order, but Gerald Gladish.
Yeah. The spice
He
merchant.
was, yes. He was sent to scout the guild's row with Silka Errant.
Silk
So
Arrant.
they were just, so they're just on a general scouting, plotting, marking trails mission for the guild row.
Yeah, Silke and Eero are giving you their report. They've marked a few places where the Skaven have been seen. I mean, where there are bigger concentrations of their patrols. So far, it looks like the usual patrol consists of 5 to 10 standard Skaven and a single one with 2 pistols tucked behind its belt. The leader usually commands from the rear, which is unusual. The Skaven are, of course, manhandling everyone who they meet. They want to show their dominance, usually by urinating on people and their belongings. But in Guild Row, because Guild Row is a rather open terrain, and apparently the Skaven don't feel really well on open terrain. So their patrols here are not that big, or especially frequent. That's what Eero and Silke told you.
Okay. Any good possibility to ambush smaller patrols? Or are the patrols small enough to where we think we could take out the whole patrol without them getting word off?
So,
Well, I'd be kind of worried about the patrols not reporting back. You know what I mean? And then they send a bunch more. Like, we can't really fight yet. We have to build our forces a little more.
Sure, but it's worth noting.
Yeah.
Silke tells you that she marked a few places. What the hell are those sounds? Oh, now it's quiet. Cool. She marked a few places where it's possible to create an ambush for patrols. It's actually Silk. Okay. Yeah. Who writes that?
Oh, I am.
Nice. Yeah. She actually marked a few places. Let's say there are 3 places in Guild Row where it's possible to rather easily ambush a Skaven patrol. She of course tells you that the Skaven are incredibly quick creatures, so that ambush would have to be, organized perfectly in order to work.
Okay.
Here's an idea that might be worth doing. If we can pull off an ambush and get our hands on just one of those pistols. I mean, I know we don't want to use it too, but the thought is that if we can then, if we see 2 groups of Skaven approaching each other, we could probably start them fighting amongst each other just by, shooting at one of the groups.
Yeah. You could probably get away with that with just a regular firearm also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Silke looks at you approvingly and says that it's actually a very good idea.
And then that's if
By at you, I mean at Lucas, of course.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. That's something I guess for after we do the because I'm assuming today is the day when we're going to go do the investigation and make contact, right?
Well,
Or
it's up
or
to
is
you.
that or is that something that we did in between games or whatever?
It depends on you. Do you want? We could assume that you've done it in between. Your people were rummaging around the city, and 2 of you went to the South Quarry, and 2 of you went to Dankerud. Or we can, do this today. It's fine by me either way. It's fine by me.
Yeah, I think the only thing that we may need to roll some dice for is any success hunting on our way back.
Okay.
But I don't think there's a whole lot involved in those trips, unless you say there might be.
No, actually not.
So, and then obviously, if we found any gunpowder in the quarry.
We'll go to the gunpowder in a second, but let's finish with the reports.
Okay.
After you and
Yeah.
Silke, who who do you want to speak to? Oh, and of course, your new guys, as well as Yavandir, also did their work. So it's not like they've just materialized 3 seconds ago. You've recruited them some time ago.
Yeah. Now, I guess the next recruit was Skippenberg, the engineer.
Honorius Kippenberg.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see now, because he was supposed to find Gennaro.
Yes. His primary objective is investigating the construction site, and then his secondary was looking for Gennaro, I believe.
Yeah, or a one-legged Silkian.
Yeah. Kippenberg, who's a gaunt and tall fellow with pasty skin. He cleans his forehead from sweat as he speaks. Well, my Aaron, I have some good news and some bad news. Which would you want to hear first?
Always the bad news.
Look at them.
Apparently, the Skaven are constructing weapons. Siege weapons. In fact, trebuchets, catapults, guns. By guns I mean cannons. They're huge in scale. All are aimed towards the Wizard's Way. The biggest one apparently is being created in the Dragon's Home, and that's where your friend is.
And that's where he also works, right?
Well, yes, he works. Well, he's still working. You see, his prosthetic foot. The Skaven are apparently only sending the strongest and most able of slaves there to construct the biggest weapon that is out there. And no, I haven't seen it with my own eyes. I've only heard it from a friend. But I know that he speaks the truth. Apparently your friend has been assigned the lumber duty. He's a strong lad, and so they've given him an axe, a hatchet, and he's supposed to chop wood all day long. From what my friend told me, he's on the brink of exhaustion. And when a Skaven slave can't work anymore, well, he's being devoured alive.
Try to get word to him that his uncle said to stay alive just a little bit longer.
Good sir, Sally, he clearly doesn't know how to call you. I'm not sure if you've understood what I said.
Sally.
Your friend is probably already, well, maybe not already dead, but he soon will be. And besides, there's no way for me to pass a word to anyone at Dragon's Home. Their security there is exceptionally tight. The elite black-furred Skaven are patrolling the place, and apparently there are many sharpshooters. A few slaves who tried to escape were gunned down without mercy. I don't know how, if it's even possible to get your friend out of there.
Now he's out of Talabheim and in at a forest where they're collecting this lumber.
No, sir. The lumber is brought from the forest by parties of slaves. They rotate every 2 days. Your friend is there only to chop the wood, essentially.
Okay, I think that's something to think about. If Hefner can gather some skirmishers to just harass the the lumber site because that's outside of the wall, so they might be able to.
It's not outside of the wall,
pistoliers.
sir. They are taking the wood from Talgrunhar forest. It's inside the crater, north of here.
Yes, yeah, but it's outside of the Talabheim
yes,
proper
of course,
walls.
of course. If by that
Where, yeah, and General Hefner still he has, I don't know, he might have some elements available to harass.
Well, that might be a way in, but I don't know of a way out.
well,
if
says
we
Yorn,
pose as slaves gathering lumber.
a way out would be pretty hard to find, if you know what I mean. You would essentially have to fight your way out of there, and the engineer here said that it's almost impossible. I think the young man's done for. We should just.
I'm not going to light a funeral fire.
We should just concentrate on other things.
Okay. The next person is Yorn.
Yeah. What did you assign Yorn to?
Yorn, retrieving weapons in and about Guild Row.
Yeah. Let's see how well
That's
he
his
did
only
that.
task.
During the
Steam tank?
yeah, yes, Marienburg Landship. During the week and a half, Yorn managed to collect a nice amount of weapons, mainly swords and hatchets and daggers. Not so many bows and crossbows, but there are enough to arm your current number of men, and then there will be some left. Of course, the elf Yavandir looks very critically at these weapons, and says that he will need to work on them to make sure that they will be ready, because at their current state, they're not even fit to chop wood with.
Well, sounds like he's got a job.
Well, is it an elf's view of quality might be significantly different than us humans.
If I would have access to my workshop in Schwarzholt, Nordgate, there is a secret stash of very fine swords there. Of course, it's the elf speaking. When I've arrived in Talabheim, I've heard of meteorite ore present here. Over the years, I've paid a considerable sum of money to people who would be willing to retrieve such pieces of such minerals for me. Blades made from that ore almost never break, and they are very, very what's the word? They're very good for magic users. Essentially, he says, that these blades can be easily enchanted. However, the Skaven overrun Schwarzholt Nordgate, and yes, and they've also took control of my shop. But if you would be able to reach it, perhaps they haven't found the stash.
Do you think that would be best for just a couple individuals to quietly go? Like, is that something we can send Yorn in to do, or should that be something we as a group do?
That's tricky, says Silka. Schwarzholt is very heavily patrolled by the Skaven, and it's on the other side of the town. I mean, we could go around, but that's not as easy as it sounds. We would have to. Well, it's more than a day's work. I mean, first we would have to go around the town, enter Schwarzholt, and then try and find the stash. And besides, the elf would have to come with us. Of course, I know where the stash is. There are 3 swords left there. they are extremely sharp, and I doubt that even the black Skaven armor would be able to stop a blow from such a sword.
We need those swords.
Yeah, sounds like we need those swords.
Why don't we take the elf? I should maybe go since I'm more of the rangery type, and then maybe Sally, and we try to go fast and quick at night to get there and back. Because I think what we're going to end up needing to do, to be quite honest, is we're going to need to run a sabotage campaign on the war machines they're making.
At the Dragon's Home?
Yeah.
Good sir, says Honorius. I mean, you literally need to have an army to try and take those sites.
Well, how many slaves are there?
I didn't say take. I said run sabotage on.
Sabotage. Skaven, there are dozens of them, perhaps even more than 100 at Dragon's Home alone.
Slaves or Skaven?
Elite units. Skaven elite units. Well,
as far as excuse me, but as far as the construction is concerned, if we had a say an engineer who was working on them, perhaps to loosely tie something here or accidentally use worn rope where sturdy rope is required, and
Honorius looks at you, with sheer terror on his face.
Don't worry about it. We won't make you do anything.
No, you don't understand. The Skaven, they have engineers of their own.
That's fine. Yeah, don't worry about his suggestions. Just keep doing what you have to do to stay alive.
How many slaves are at the Dragon's Home, would you say?
I don't know. It's the biggest construction site of all, so my guess would be more than 100, maybe 150. It's hard to tell. Like I've said,
that's our army right there. Maybe we could start a revolt. It's just the right time.
It's a starved, half-beaten to death army. Many of these people, they know that if they will rebel, the Skaven will come to their homes and kill their families.
But if they rebel right as there's an assault from the outside?
Halfling, let's face it, says Jon. If those sites would be taken, it would be only with the help of the military.
Well, let's maybe get the rest of the reports before we get too committed to tasks. Well, it sounds like we got one objective for sure. Let's find out what everybody else has found.
Yeah, let's finish the reports at this point.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So, Karstashia.
Karstashite, yes. You've given her the Elven Amulet, and you've sent her to Merchant District, I believe, to spy on the Wizard's Way and the fortress there. Is that correct?
Yeah, because she works in a shop where they come in, so yeah.
Well, you see that, of course, Karsta, ever since you've given her the amulet, Karsta is a little shaken. Possibly because, she understands what mutated half-rat monsters are saying to each other.
They talk about CrossFit nonstop.
Yes.
And veganism.
That's how they get their rat ogres.
Vegan rat ogres for the win. Yeah. Anyway, she wraps her eyes and speaks. Well, I've listened. The Ratmen haven't found about this thing that you've given me. It seems that the sorcerer, the Grey Seer, as they call him, I don't know what it means, apparently visits all of the construction sites around the city, but most often he can be found in Dragon's Home, which he oversees personally in most of the times. He also has an ally, a creature which the Skaven call Ekmorcast. He's some kind of, I don't know, She looks at Honorius. Engineer, I guess. He's also responsible for the construction of these things. There's also this third leader in the Talos called Nourish the Superator. From what I've heard, when these creatures were talking to each other, Asorak wants to see Nourish dead, but so far he's amused that his rival is trapped there. Asorak hasn't sent forces to the Talos. He just established. He ordered them to establish a perimeter at the gates leading to this district. And important thing, the Empire army has not yet arrived, but the Skaven are very agitated and they expect it to be outside the walls of the city at any time now.
I wonder what that cannon fire that was reported outside the wall was then.
Well, I don't know. And the fortress is completely in their hands.
Okay.
Apparently it's extremely heavily guarded. Their best troops are stationed there.
Well, we greatly appreciate your effort in this. I know it was terribly hard for you. If you want to give up the amulet at this point, it's entirely up to you. If you think.
Well, I have it for some time now. I can just as well continue to listen to these things.
If you feel comfortable with it, then we would appreciate the additional information. But if it becomes a burden, certainly you're not being forced to do it.
No, it's okay. It's all for a cause.
Okay. And then I guess the last of the recruits that we sent out was the halfling Ruben Pablo.
Tobo Roundabout.
Yeah.
Rounder Band. But you remember also about the other recruits, the ones that you've created.
Yes. Yeah, we haven't tasked them out yet.
No,
so.
I mean, let's say that you did. That you did, but we'll deal with them. We know after Tobal.
Okay. Tobal. Okay.
Yes.
My spelling is horrible in the notes, just so you know. I have it Pabol. But anyway, he is scouting the Manor District for intel on the Countess and general troop numbers in the area.
Okay, let's see how well Tobal managed to do his mission. Oh, it's very good. Well, mine Aaron, says Tobal. It looks like this. The Countess is not there. I mean, she's not in her palace. The palace belongs to the necromancer, Gugula Skell, and her creations, I guess.
So she's still alive?
Yes, she is.
I'm glaring at him.
At who?
The halfling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she is still alive. She resides there, but she doesn't do anything. The Skaven sometimes send her bodies. I mean, dead bodies, of course. But I haven't seen any zombies outside. So that's that. And other than that, well, the Skaven are patrolling the Manor District, and these ones are a bit nasty. There are standard patrols, of course, but there are also those big beasties. Each one of them is accompanied by 2 or 3 smaller Skaven that apparently work as some kind of handlers. They are guiding them. Yeah, but other than that, well, I haven't seen anything. At least nothing worse than I've already described.
When he's describing the giant beasties, does it sound like he's describing like the rat ogres?
Yeah, rat ogres.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm checking to see if there's anything else, but I don't think so. Yeah. Yeah, because Honorius tells you that, on his construction site there are 50 slaves, around 50 slaves, as well as oh yeah, because there are 4 construction sites. There's the one on the old market, in the old market. That's where Honorius is. There's the Schwarzholt Nord Gate one, and there's the Low District one, and of course the final biggest one is in the Dragon's Home, and in there are many more slaves than just 50 plus. Yeah. So that's it.
All right. Where should our other recruits gone and done?
Foraging for food.
Yeah, check the recruits, and then think about what each of them should be or had been doing.
Yeah.
Is Newt here?
Rife.
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
She of course does not speak.
We need to have some of them out foraging for food, between searching abandoned houses and just doing things like digging up wild onions, or whatever, raiding gardens that are abandoned homes and stuff like that. We need to have some of them foraging for food.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, and Tobo said that the Manor District is very loosely patrolled. I mean, there are the big beasties there, rat ogres, and standard patrols, but they are very infrequent, and there are not too many of them there.
That's probably where people should be foraging for food then.
When you said that, he of course immediately speaks, because he's a halfling, that Manor District is not exactly a place where people were cultivating crops, so to speak. You could,
but there will be there will be abandoned
gardens?
houses that might have pantries, or gardens.
Yeah, noble houses. Yes. Okay, so
those are going to be the easiest to forage because you're not out in the open. Because, as you said, the Skaven were, confiscating all the food they find.
Yeah.
So if they see you digging up an onion, they're going to take the onion. But if if you're in a home, in an abandoned home looking for food, you're less likely to get caught. So
I mean, the usual gist of it. The general gist of it. Sorry, is that the north part of Talabheim, like northern part, is not a place that you would want to be in. The southern part is also not a place that you would want to be in, but at least it's not as bad as in the north. The Talos are in the hands of the second Skaven faction, but they are trapped there. They are the enemies of the Azorak. Still I.
So they are still alive.
According to Karsta, yes. She told you that the Skaven that she overheard said that they've used a term plague monk or plague priest is still alive and trapped with his followers there. And the necromancer Gugulaskel has locked herself in the Grand Manor, which used to be, the place of rulership of Talabheim. So that's how.
So there's a possibility that the Countess could be
alive,
held hostage.
Yes. Well, okay. So let's get to your other recruits. We have. Let's start with the Otto von Friedhurst. He's here. He mumbles to himself. He looks like a beggar, except that that he's a. He knows how to heal. Let's just say, he's a doctor. What was Otto doing during all this time, and what? Yeah, what are you going to task him with?
I would probably suggest that he would kind of develop a triage center in case things start getting violent with our group.
Yeah.
So somewhere to take wounded, and so gather. So I would expect him to start gathering medical supplies and set up essentially aid station here or there in case one of our characters took a hit. He can address that.
He mumbles nervously but nods, and says that he already has a place like that chosen for just such a thing.
Now you used to be a doctor for nobles, correct?
Yes, sir. I was.
Are you familiar with any of their households in the noble district?
Von Blitzhoffen's, yes, I know of their house. They've hired me rather often to treat flatulence of their lord of the manor. He had a quite nasty gas problem.
Just wondering if do you think his manor is easily accessible, or might have food supplies or anything?
Yes. The man had quite an appetite for the less than healthy foodstuffs, I might add. A lot of beans. Yes, it's located on the west side of the manor district. I could lead you there. What's that sound?
Yeah, Brian, are you still?
No, I'm just sitting here. I don't know. What does it sound like?
Now it's gone. Okay, cool. Anyway, yes, he tells you about this place.
Okay.
There might be food there. Yeah.
We might as well. We can.
Yep.
All right.
You might as well go there. He told you where it is. It's you can place a marker. It's on the west side of the manor district, and his chosen place of healing is to the south of your current base, near the edge. Near the edge of the city.
Okay.
Okay. So that's it. That's it for Otto. Now Yavandir. What was he tasked for the last week and a half? He's a smith, and remember that Gildrow has many workshops, smithies, and things like that. Decide.
What do you guys think?
I thought we already had him kind of, when we said that somebody was bringing back weapons and he was like their crap, that we were sort of having him maintain the weapons or get them up to snuff, sharpen them, whatever.
All right.
Maybe work on armor as well.
No problem. But we shall see. I'm going to roll, and we shall see how well he did what he did.
Yeah, I got to figure that's probably pretty hard to do anything more than sharpen them because it's going to make a lot of noise otherwise.
Yeah, well, he didn't really do that good of a job because he says that he doesn't have A, materials, and B, he would need to find a good enough place for him to work. Remember that Guild Row is also not it's not patrolled that much because it's more of an open space.
Yeah. We probably don't want him working in our little headquarters area either, just in case.
No. So what he did for the last week and a half was mainly to sharpen a few swords, patch up few pieces of armor, but other than that, not much. But you see that he is very keen on doing something more. So if you would find a place for him to work in and find some materials, then he would be more than happy to start producing weapons and armor.
Maybe he should do that back in the town where the army is right now, because to fire up a forge, that'll make a lot of smoke here,
Well, yes.
But then we got to smuggle loud and large weapons into the city, and that's going to be very difficult.
I just don't know how he could do it discreetly. You know what I mean?
Well, probably he says that he would need to work only a few hours a day, and would probably need to find a place on the far southern end of the city. And of course, he would need some kind of protection. He would need a few men with him to guard him from eventual Skaven assault. But like I've said, you have the guys under your command managed to gather for, let's say, a total of them have gathered a group of like 15, freedom fighters.
Yeah. Now the city hasn't stopped, so I'm still sure that there's certain foundries that are still going. Obviously, they are probably prevented from making weapons, but if we found a shop in the city for him to work, he can use the cover of just making hinges or chains or something that is permitted to still be used.
Chains to chain slave settlements.
Yeah.
It's a booming market.
He says that he's not going to work on such things. It's distasteful and dishonorable for him to do so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There's a plus. He's not your usual elf. He's not arrogant, but he still has, a certain set of moral rules that he's not willing to break.
Well, maybe we should have found a dwarf.
Well, I'm just hoping that you're not saying this.
Yeah, I think a dwarf would have been even worse.
But again, he says that if you find me a workshop, give me a few men, like 5 or 6, then I'll be able to work 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, forging very good weapons and very good armor. Because, actually other people confirmed this, Xavandir was probably the most famous blacksmith in all of Talabheim. He made the best. He made the best weapons in the whole city.
Well, perhaps your apprentices can.
My apprentices are dead, human.
Whoever we find to work for you or work with you can hold up the screen just in case you do get found out.
If they'll be able and worthy, then yes, then they can help me. But if not, then well, they can just guard me during the forging.
All right.
All right. So that's Xavandir. Next up, we have Franka Newt Wilmer. A little girl stands, quite a part of the group. She looks at you with her huge dark eyes. Sorry, green eyes. of course she's, well, you're all dirty and not exactly smelling good, but she looks like she crawled through a sewer or two before she reached your place. She doesn't speak, but she wants to help. So, what did you task her with?
Somebody outside?
Not me.
Yeah, 1 second.
She seems like she'd be perfect for spying on what's going on in the Talos.
Yeah,
All right.
but that may we haven't.
We're
sent
finding a way
anybody-
into Dragon's Home, or see if she already knows one.
It might be a good idea to have a route through the Talos to get to the Merchant District, since Gelt Ward is where a lot of the big monsters are. So if
Jorn speaks. What about trying to cut a deal with the other group? We have a little girl here. She can spy where that Neurish fellow is located. We can arrange a meeting. Enemy of my enemies, my friend, and all of that.
I was thinking about that until he said the word plague. That has me very worried about striking deals.
Well, there is a possibility of contracting something, but then again, we could need all the help that we could get. Well, it was just my.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea.
Okay, seriously, what the hell? What's that sound?
What does it sound like?
Like,
just
Sounds like
things
a
going
shit
on in the
ton of
background.
noise.
yeah, like there's, I don't know, someone watching TV.
It sounds like a little bit of an echo.
Yeah.
Also.
Oh, it might be the room I'm in. There's like hardwood floors and stuff.
Okay, now it's good. Well, whatever.
Is it just when I talk?
No, now it's okay. Now it's okay.
I think so. If you're on voice activation, it sounds like something is kicking that on, and then we just hear everything going on in the background.
Yeah. Well, now it's okay. So let's keep it.
Well,
down.
yeah, I had it on speaker a second ago. I just put it on regular phone mode.
Oh, okay. All right. So anyway, Newt. What do you want to task her with? Go to Talos, check the dragon's home, or do something else?
I think we should see if we can get Gennaro out, and maybe we could tie it in with a few other missions, because we're gonna have to hit that at some point, and I don't think we could just go in fighting. We're going to be clever about it.
So maybe a secret way to get into Dragon's Home would through the Talos, anyway.
I think we can
Anyway,
get in posing as the lumber slaves, but getting out is the problem.
Yeah.
Silke and Jorn oppose that plan. Remember that your resistance fighters, of course, they also can criticize your ideas just as you can theirs. Silke and Jorn state that saving a single person from the most dangerous place in the whole city is counterproductive.
We'd be saving quite a few, though.
How? I mean, how do you plan to get them out?
Well, that's what we need to find out. Like, we can get in, just how do we get out safely?
Honorius says that it's, at least in his opinion, it's impossible to successfully infiltrate such a place. It would require someone with skills, that he can't even imagine himself.
Well, maybe if we stumble across a dwarf, a particular dwarf, he can help us out with that. But I'm assuming Deadeye's long gone. But if he's not, maybe we can get his help with that.
Do you think this new character would be privy to make contact with the dwarves that are held up.
In the stone house?
Yes.
Which one?
Is there
The
multiple
little
stone
girls, right?
houses?
Little girl won't make contact with anyone because she doesn't speak.
She just she nods or shakes her head pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, do you think she could deliver a letter?
Yeah, no problem. She nods, of course, as you say that.
Okay. Well, that might be a
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
just
I think get the dwarves to help us.
or just get in communication. Start a dialogue in case we do need to do something, or if we need a distraction. I'm sure they can stir up a garrison just to like we could probably get them to pull a lot of the Skaven forces if we needed to. Same thing with the other
With the
people
Myrmidians.
held up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they could just all of a sudden kind of make a nuisance, draw a bunch of attention, and then we can use that as a tool in order for us to complete further objectives. So I think getting a dialogue with both of those groups going, just to let them know that we're here, and ask them if the time comes, if they can kind of pull something off like that.
All right.
Might be a good idea. Do you think you can deliver a letter to either or both of those, Newt?
She nods once. You don't know if that means that for both of them or just for one.
Okay. Well, maybe we should. Does anybody know how to read or write in Dwarvish?
I suspect most of them can probably read Reichspiel.
Yeah, but if the letter gets captured or lost or...
That was one of the things that I needed to get, but never did.
Dwarfish? I mean, Kazalit?
Well, it was on one of them. It was either Dwarvish or Elvish,
Oh, okay. Yeah, well.
but I missed that one.
All right.
Or classical.
All right. So Newt has her mission. There's Heinz Aufvik. He's the Middenlander, Englishman in New York, so to speak. He's a devoted follower of Myrmidia and an ex-watchman. He is kind of out of place here.
Yes.
With his massive stature, almost 200 pounds of muscle, piercing blue eyes and light brown hair. Yeah, so what are you going to do with him?
Maybe we can use him to gather some food.
That's what I was thinking.
All right, so
He knows where to get donuts.
yeah, you could task him with procurement of food for the last week and a half. Him and a couple other, let's call them minions. The freedom fighters, so to speak. Let's see how well he managed to do that. Oh, you can actually
Don't eat any of it on your way back.
Very,
Never.
very funny. Ha ha ha, he says. He actually managed to do pretty well. He, together with a couple other people, visited neighboring villages and procured foodstuffs, mainly dried food and fish. Wheat bread, some casks of ale, some dried or marinated vegetables and fruit. Of course, it's still not enough really, but it will keep you going for at least some time. You and the fledgling resistance. Oh, and he also learned that so far the Skaven have not yet begun to terrorize the outside villages. They seem content to stay in Talabheim. And the people, he also said that the people in the villages were very willing to help and were, well, actually he managed to, gather like 3 young farm boys and draw them into resistance.
All right.
Yeah, so that's what he did. Finally, we have Konrad Fleischer, the butcher. 40 years old, smelling of stale blood, not very handsome. He likes knives, just like Jorn. Well, maybe not like Jorn, because Jorn loves his knives. But still, what was his mission?
I mean, I think if he could be five-fingering some of the food that the Skaven bring in for butchering that's not, human or inedible to humans, that's probably one mission.
So to basically gather more food.
Yes.
Alright, he also tells you that he knows of a secret food stash. There's a secret food stash in Walled Northgate. It was used by a gang, actually, because this gang specialized in trafficking luxurious foodstuffs to and from Talabheim. Of course, the gang has been probably wiped out in the invasion, but what's his name? But Konrad knew their leader. They were, well, not exactly friends, but they worked together from time to time. After all, Konrad is a skilled butcher and known rather well in certain parts of the city. So yeah, he says that in the Walled Northgate there's a stash of food. There's not a huge amount of it, but it's good. It's good stuff. There's also alcohol there, including Kislevite vodka, or kwas as it is known. And kwas is actually very good, not only for drinking but also for treating wounds. For its because it's antiseptic. But it's in the Walled Northgate. It's very close to Dragon's Home. There are a lot of Skaven patrols there, and it's actually located between Dragon's Home and Old Market. And remember that there are 2 construction sites there. Still, if someone would be able to go there and retrieve the stuff, then it's always a bit more food for you people.
Okay, so
Jason, you can.
Where was this located?
Well, place a marker anywhere in Walled Northgate.
Okay.
Let's say it's near Vanda's Vanda Free Apples Inn.
Yeah, I'm just pointing to the general
Alright.
region, not necessarily where in the region these things are.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, there's food and anything else?
Actually, wait a second. You know what, Jason? Place it a bit more south. Because you've placed it in Schwarzholt, and Walled Northgate is right on top of Merchant District.
Oh, okay, I see it. Sorry.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so that's it. You've tasked your men. Where suddenly there's a familiar code knock from on top, from one of your sentries. Let's say it's Anton the minion. The doors open and a young man comes down. Mein Herren, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's a visitor, a woman.
Okay.
Look to everybody else.
Yeah,
see if they're expecting anyone.
No, they actually, when Anton came down, they all reached for their weapons.
Yeah, no, I'd keep my hand on my weapon, but I'm going to tell him to send her down.
Well, I mean,
let's go.
Only Jorn put his knives, but the rest of the people here, except maybe Honorius, who's not armed, are having their hands on their on the pommels of their swords.
I'm not sending her down. I will go up.
Yeah.
I will go up. Yeah.
By yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Commander Lucas, please follow me. He says. The young man is very enthusiastic about his work, but he's also a bit, a bit out of his element, so to speak. He's pretty nervous about this new duty. You follow him to the top, to the common room in which, almost 2 weeks ago you slept for the first time since arriving in Talabheim on the orders of York Hefner. Inside, you see 2 more sentries guarding a woman, a very young woman, dressed in Shalaya's robes. She looks at you and nods her head with respect. Greetings, I am Irmgard, priestess of Shalaya. Well, actually acolyte, but anyway, am I speaking to the man in charge?
Yes.
I have a message for you. Well, actually, a bit of an information.
Could we hear what they're saying? I imagine we're all very quiet.
You are in the basement, and Anton locked the door behind. Well, I mean, you can of course always go, outside, if you want.
Yeah, I would like to try to overhear.
Okay, so you go to the top and put your ear to the door.
Yeah.
All right. The rest of you down are, of course, people immediately begin to argue. For example, Jorn says that it's a trap. Silke says that it's probably a trap. Tobol and Newt are trying to hide in the shadows.
The name sounds familiar, doesn't it? Or does it?
Irmgard? No, not really, actually.
Her name? Okay.
I had a sister named Irmgard.
Anyway, Irmgard looks at you, Lucas, and says, before the coming of the Ratmen, I was working in the insane asylum in Shalaya's, in an insane asylum run by my order. There was this man there. I was taking care of him, and he was actually. He always seemed rather odd to me because he actually was quite sane. At least I thought so. Except for a single bit of speech that he often treated me with. In that he said that the legendary Skaven were chasing him, and that they've chased him throughout the entire world. Because apparently he learned of their secrets, and they wanted to kill him. I believe he used a quite different term, but yeah, in essence it was just to kill him. Now, obviously I didn't believe in a single word that he said, until the invasion, that is. He claimed that he was once a Skaven slave, and to prove it, he actually spoke to me in this strange, squeaking language, the language that these monstrosities use on the streets. I am an acolyte of Shalaya, so I help people of Talabheim whenever I can. Skaven are usually ignoring me, or letting me do my work. But I've heard how they communicate, and it sounds almost exactly like, the Mad Gopfert used to say. Oh, because his name was Gopfert. I mean, is Walter Gopfert.
Okay. Where can we find this man?
Well, the asylum is located in the God's Row. From what I've heard, the Skaven are using it as a huge pantry. They just come inside, eat people whenever they want. I'm not sure if Gopfert is still alive, but I've heard about the Resistance, and I thought that you might want to hear about that. And of course, I pledge my services to you. I'm only an acolyte, but I can heal, and I can help. If of course you need my help, that is.
Thank you very much. At this moment, we don't, but we will be in contact because we will need your help later.
Of course, I'm at your service.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for this information.
Very well. I know that perhaps you don't trust me, but my intentions are true, and I am guided by my goddess. If you would need me, you can find me near the border with Geldvold. I mean Gudro and Geldvold. I occupy a small house there and help people whenever I can, wherever I can. And
Thank you.
And with that, she bows and leaves essentially.
As soon as the scout or whoever it was that brought her here comes back, I'm gonna smack him on the back of the head and tell him, don't ever do that again. Instead, take her somewhere else and send somebody to come get one of us.
Of course, you did that. The scout, a very young kid, almost burst into tears, claiming that, well, but she's a Shalayan, she's a sister of mercy, and
Tobal, come here.
Yeah. When I said smack on the back of the head, I didn't mean like full force.
Yeah, I know. It was just like a light slap, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when I point out this is a learning experience, but learning can cause people to die.
Yeah. Well, yes, that you all know that it was a very dangerous thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call Tobal up to the door that I'm listening in on.
So I'm gonna go back and do the secret knock on the door to get it unlocked.
Yeah. As soon as the Tobal reached the top, you've heard the secret knock.
Okay, I want to delay a bit and I'm like, Tobal, there's a priest.
Okay, Lucas, you're standing in front of the door like a tool.
Yeah. I want to tell Tobal to try to clandestinely follow the priestess back and have him report where she's staying and if any suspicious activity.
All right. He nods.
And then come back in the evening, so he's not out for weeks.
All right. He nods, opens the door, runs between Lucas' legs, and goes outside.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell everybody what she said.
All right.
And then I guess at that point, Jason will tell me why he sent, why he sent the halfling out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll let him know that just to make sure this isn't an infiltrator.
Yeah, no, that's good. If it comes back legit, at least that she wasn't lying about that. I think we need to pull a rescue mission for this guy too. That could be very, very useful.
Jorn says we should kill the dumb fuck who let her in. I mean, seriously. It could have ended right here, right now. What if she would, I don't know, had some kind of
I don't think we
bomb
should
or
kill him, but
something like
I'm sure we can find him something else to do.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, so who's going to the insane asylum? It's in God's Row.
Well, first we have to wait to see if it sounds like she's at least telling the truth about some of it. Second, I think getting those swords is probably tonight's mission.
The swords, the elven swords.
Yes.
All right.
Well, let's kind of categorize these with our primary objectives. Our primary objectives is to find out what's going on in the city and report back, and then, depending on what that is, influence it. So with that in mind, are the swords the main priority?
I think for tonight, I think having swords as sharp as it sounds like these are, et cetera, would probably make most of the rest of the things we have to do that much easier. I think second priority or simultaneous priority would be to try to rescue the guy from the asylum if we can. Because again, he's going to be able to give us intel as well as possibly spy.
Sounds like he's on a time limit, though.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Possibly a simultaneous thing, because I don't know that we want to send the four of us and the elf to go get the swords all together. I mean, that's a big group. So maybe we split and run two missions. Take two of us and the elf, and then two of us and maybe the serial killer and the lady that's a good fighter. I can't remember her name.
Sukar.
Yeah.
She's actually more of a scout than a knight because
scout. Okay.
Because knights of the Verdant Field, are not your usual type of heavy armored knights.
Okay. Yeah, but maybe take the two of us, go with the two of them to do the rescue mission, while two of us and the elf go to get the swords, and then figure things out from there.
For the sake of role playing, do you think we should send just a group of recruits to one of those objectives, and us as a party go for the second objective? And we can determine which one we want to go for. And also, I guess there's other things like we don't yet know where the Countess is, but I have my suspicions that the Necromancer might be involved. So I would not mind.
I know in every horror movie they say don't ever split the party. I really feel like we need to split the party. I don't trust most of the recruits to go get the swords. I would trust them to go to that food, the food stash. But I don't necessarily trust them. It's not that I don't trust them. It's just that a lot of them have more to lose should they screw up than we do. And being caught with swords, one, is going to be an instantaneous death. Two, it's going to put some very valuable elven swords into the hands of the Skaven. And I don't know that. And I'm going to use D&D explanation here. I apologize. But we're 5th, 10th, something like that level, and most of these I'm assuming are like 0 or 1st level, kind of in skills and experience. So I don't know that.
Most of those under you, directly under you, are not on 0 level. They are pretty experienced in their elements. The freedom fighters, the ones that they recruited, are like your. I don't want to use cannon fodder. I don't use the name cannon fodder, but
right.
They are, the basic, very basic fighters. Most of them, actually almost all of them, are not even fighters. They're just people who lived here and who are now, working for the resistance. But for example, Silke and Jorn are very good at combat. Tobo is an expert in stealth. Honorius is a great engineer.
Right, but I guess when I said 0 level, I mean more towards the kind of mission we're about to pull off.
Yeah, well, you need to send them where their expertise will actually work. If you send I don't know, Honorius to God's Row, he will just probably get murdered. And essentially,
right, and that's why I said take 2 of us and the scout knight and the serial killer dude, to go to God's Row to do a breakout, and then 2 of us go with the elf, two of the stealthier ones of us go with the elf to rescue the 3 swords.
All right.
I just.
Sally
I'm not
and
convinced that
Sean,
the swords. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of look to Sally and Leopold.
What are your thoughts on this?
Because I honestly don't. To me, I think the weapons, like we have weapons, like.
Yeah, but having weapons that'll cut down a
Rat ogre,
heavily
and I look
armored.
over to Lucas.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it's not just the swords we'll be getting. If there's any gear he can grab from his shop, we'll be grabbing that too, and that'll help him, work on the gear we already have. Not necessarily lots, but at least better than not having it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if we're picking one over the other, I mean, what specifically is this guy?
Well, I
help
don't
us
think
with?
that's what I'm saying.
Just-
I'm not suggesting picking one over the other. I'm saying we do both of them.
Right.
We split the party and do both.
I think the swords are worth having, personally.
Are these the only 2 objectives on the table right now?
Well, we also have the food stash. Those are the only 2 immediate, or those are the only 3 immediate objectives.
We should also be murdering the necromancer, but that's...
Yes.
I think some of the
And
resistance sole job should just be finding food.
But
Sure.
again,
About it.
but again, murdering the necromancer will be a lot easier with 3 super sharp elven swords.
Yeah, I agree. I'm all for getting the swords. Just saying. I see the wisdom in getting the guy from the insane asylum. I just don't know if that's like super important or less important.
I think for purposes of intel, it's very important. And as he is, what's said, he's on a time limit. He
could be the reason the Skaven are here.
Yeah.
And to be fair, if that's the case, I would happily trade him for them to leave. The needs of the many over the needs of the few. But if he is, that gives us a pretty powerful bargaining chip.
I was gonna say I can't imagine that some guy. I mean, I can imagine that they were chasing him because they didn't want their plans known. But
right.
now
Well, I agree. I don't think they take over a whole city this size just for one person.
Yeah.
What's the objection to having some of the recruits go after the swords? Like you said, you didn't trust them to do that.
Yeah,
Like,
basically. None of them are really. That's not really any of their skill sets. Maybe the I can't ever remember any of their names. The lady knight / scout.
Silka.
Silka and Tobal, I would think would be, and then the elf, that would be 3. That I think would be.
But I also think my fear is that so one, which one's Tobal?
The halfling.
The halfling. He's gonna have a hard time carrying an elven sword.
Really? Aren't they supposed to be lighter?
Yeah.
Yes, but they're also tall. Elves are tall, so a regular elven sword is going to be taller than a regular human sword.
He would be there more in sneaking around.
I've created this sword human, but it's not for elven hands, it's for human hands. So you don't need to worry about that.
I imagine 3 swords wrapped in a rug. Anybody, any of the runners, whether it's you yourself and I gesture to the elf, or Silka and I point to Silka, can carry all 3 without too much hindrance. I don't think the payload, unless you're planning on bringing back half your workshop or any particular tools, but
I believe that my workshop has been destroyed, but like I've said, there is a chance that the stash has survived. These swords have been created from a meteorite, and they are able to cut through almost anything. I bet that they can also get through Ratmen's steel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm all for splitting the party. I think that's Jason's biggest.
I
Honestly,
kind of think we should
my
do
only
it.
argument against it is for the sake of Miguel
Yeah, same
running
here.
a split party.
But
No,
but I
it's
think
no
like,
problem for me. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we
just-
do this all the time.
Yeah,
So
logically we would do it. Like if we're not worried about rules or how to do it. You know what I mean? Like in real life we would do it. So
well,
but it
I mean, I
just-
think
it'd
this,
be harder to run.
if Sally and I and the elf and maybe Tobald go do, we're the sneaky ones. We can go do the swords, and Jason and Sean are a little more warrior born, and take the other two that we were just talking about, and maybe if there's another, the captain guy, the one that was on food patrol.
And there's probably a few lesser recruits we could take too, right?
Yeah, to potentially do a breakthrough or a breakout, to try to find the guy in the insane asylum.
Silka says that those plans sound very well, but we need to think about two things basically. First of all, these missions will be probably the first in which we will actively engage the enemy. We need to realize consequences of that. So far, the Skaven patrols, except for the northern parts of the city, haven't been that big or that determined. But once we start killing them, this could change.
Well, and I think in both cases they can be done without killing any of the Skaven, potentially, because she said the priestess said that the Skaven treat it like a buffet. They just come in when they're ready. So that implies at least that there's either minimal or no guards. That we could maybe send somebody in up over the top and down versus straight on through the front door, and like I said, potentially pull the rescue off without having to kill anybody.
But we don't know how the situation looks inside the asylum. We don't know if they have guards there. We don't know if they. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. I believe for the asylum, we're going to essentially do a SWAT raid. But worst case scenario, if things go well, then they go well. But I think we better prepare to.
And I mean, no doubt. But I mean,
whereas
I think that we try to make it as quiet as possible.
Sure. Whereas the swords, I think would be,
the swords
I think that will be quieter.
Will be an easier part.
Yeah. Well, let me ask this then: how long do you think it would take for us to get the swords and meet up at the asylum?
You don't want to take the swords and go to the asylum, asks Jorn. That's a
I have an idea.
That's a moronic plan. One group gets the swords and goes around the city, back to our base. The other group tries to get this Gopfert or whatever the hell he is called fellow. Why would you want to take the free precious sword and go to a place in which Skaven, use as their eatery?
I don't actually want to, but they feel like they seem to feel like we need more people there.
Newt, do you think you can? How quickly do you think you could get to the temple that's being besieged, the Meridian Temple? Because we might be able to use them to draw the attention of whatever's going on in God's Row while we try to do the snag and bag.
Silka intercedes. The temple is under siege, and we Myrmidians do not throw our lives so foolishly. We're not Sigmarites or Urukans.
We're not saying you'd have to do that, but
no, you don't understand. I mean, there's no chance that my men my fellows will open the door and run outside to fight the few
I'm just
hundred
saying,
Skaven.
I'm saying cause a distraction. It could just be. It could be a start of a fire. It can be just a ruckus from within the walls to draw the eyes.
What was the results of our scouting of the gunpowder stock?
Yeah, that's actually, we forgot about that. It was a complete success. You have, and that's rather important. I don't remember which of you went there. I think it was.
I think it was Leopold and
Sally.
I thought it was supposed to be Sally.
Yeah.
I thought it was supposed to be Sally and Leopold.
It took both of you and few of the recruits. I mean the minions, not your second in command fellows. 2 whole days to grab everything you wanted to, because in the quarry, in the south quarry, you found a cunningly concealed hidden door that led to a stash. I use the word stash a lot during this game. I'm sorry. Anyway, the stash
Cache.
yes, contained a lot of goodies. You have black powder barrels, you have firearms, you have pistols, you have signal flares, actually. The signal flares look like those long, metal cylinders that you just tear the top off, because the top of the cylinder is actually made from, from sort of a paper, and as you tear it off, it fires a firework of sorts. A colorful firework. So it's a signal flare. You have a bunch of these.
So we actually have firearms?
Yeah, you have. And you have ammunition for them, you have gunpowder. Now, bear in mind, there's not too many of the firearms. You have a lot of black powder, but for the sake of mechanics, let's say that you have enough firearms to arm your entire group and half of your recruits. Oh, and no fancy weapons like multi-barreled handguns or something like that. Pistols and rifles, that's it. And a few blunderbusses.
Can I take a pistol?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's see if any of these are made in Nuln, and I'm going to kind of look for a stamp.
Actually, most of them are.
I want to look at
there's a note attached to one. Curse Darius, you fuck, I'm coming for you. Signed.
Damn it. I want to quickly hide that.
Yeah.
Put it in my pocket.
Signed Jabul.
Wherever you are, I will find you.
Exactly. Signed J. Falk.
Yeah.
No, of course I'm kidding. But yes, these firearms are made in Noun. That said, Sally, you got your pistol. Let's say that you can have, of course, if you don't want to hoard ammunition and gunpowder, that you have enough ammo and powder for 5 shots right now.
Okay.
All right. And think about whether you want to give these guns to other people. If you want to, right now you are all storing these weapons in your base. But maybe you want to redistribute them to other resistance members or to other safe houses, because there are other safe houses founded by your second in command folk.
Anybody in our group familiar with using firearms? Like, is the engineer knowledgeable about that stuff?
I used to have one.
Yeah, I know you did, and
all right.
I just wasn't
So
sure.
yeah, so that was the result of a trip to the South Quarry. if anything, it really helped with the morale. Like, a lot.
Shiny guns from Dawn.
So, Silke proposes she proposes a certain plan that she, Yorn, and one of you or two of you will infiltrate the asylum, because it's clearly a job for more martial kind of resistance fighters. While Tobol, when he comes back from scouting the priestess, Tobol and perhaps few other people from your group, like, I don't know, maybe Lucas or Tobol Elf and two more of you guys will go and.
I was thinking Lucas or myself and Sally.
Yeah, we will retrieve the weapons.
I'm gonna look at her and say, "Are you literally just gonna say what Lucas said 5 minutes ago?"
Something like that, but with more.
I'm gonna reach
differently.
I'm gonna reach over and smack Vincent in the back of the head again.
Blask.
But we'll all give her credit for the idea.
Yes, that's a great idea. I like it. See, Lucas, why don't you learn something?
She actually just said what Lucas said, but with more, concrete facts.
Does she seem like overly proud of her idea?
No, actually, she's not. Like I've said before, Silke has a lot of ideas, but she also volunteers for each of her plans. She's not saying like you guys should go there and I'm going to stay here.
Yeah.
And,
I
the second part, she says, and that's not something that Lucas had said before, is whether we are going to do this now or after dark.
I think after dark in both cases.
All right. How good are you able to see in the dark?
I think
because
I think
I have a
group
slight
going for
advantage.
the swords would be pretty good. Two halflings and an elf.
Because these things, they can see in the dark very well.
Yeah, I thought they liked. I think we should go for the guy during the daylight hours, because I feel like that.
Okay.
But the swords you can go at night if you really feel like it.
Because
But yeah, I feel like the rats are more active at night, because then they attack us at night, or at least when not when the sun was up.
Yeah.
yeah, which means
Initially.
we have almost a full day to go after the asylum. And then, to be honest, you may want to also use the daylight to go for the swords. Like, if you want to, get to the area during
That's
the daylight.
true, yeah.
I imagine there's a curfew, so if you're spotted out in the streets, you could play stupid during the day.
Actually, there is a curfew. The humans are not allowed to venture outside in the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea to at least head over there during the day and maybe get in there at night and get back. But
Yavandir says that he knows a good enough place to hide, not far from his workshop. So you can go there and wait for the dark, and then go and try and retrieve the stash.
Or try retrieving it during the day, and if you just get caught by the light or caught by the night, you can hide there for the night.
Yeah. So I understand that right now these are your two plans of action, and food is will be dealt with somewhere later, right?
I think we need to act on at least the asylum thing, because that sounds like that's a time-sensitive mission, because we don't want him eaten. Food, I think we can certainly task some other characters to start gathering food. We have the Otto knows a location that might have some food. We can have him and
yeah, he can take a few minions and go to the manor.
Yeah.
You know.
As well as we can, the stash that the butcher knew about, they can potentially go do that too.
That's going to be a harder one.
Okay, well,
because
we'll deal with that then later.
It's deep in the center of the enemy territory.
Okay, we'll deal with that one later then.
Yeah. This one will need a little more finesse. The butcher, of course, would need to accompany you, but it's placed between two major construction sites.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Silka, Leopold, and what's his name? Jorn.
Yeah.
Do we? What are your thoughts on if we want to take other people, or how do you want to do this raid? Should we bring some minions as well?
No, I don't trust those new recruits. They're useless.
What about a distraction?
Distraction usually means dying, says Jorn. I don't know, it's up to you, but I think that we'll manage to do this with only 3 of us. What do you say, Leopold? Do you have stones to do that?
I got stones in bunches.
Great.
I think Silka? I want to look at Silka. Silka, will you be coming with us?
Yes, of course, she says.
Okay. So then it'll be the 4 of us.
The 4 of us will try and extract Walter Gopfert from the asylum. There's no need to contact my people in the Temple of Myrmidia. Trust me, I've escaped from there after it was besieged. It's almost impossible to even send a message back inside, let alone do some ruckus. We shall leave this place alone for now, but maybe the little girl could contact the dwarfs at their embassy.
Yeah, I imagine after we do this, if we make any type of scene, you may want to not deliver that message to the Meridian Temple.
She nods.
Shortly thereafter.
All right. All right, and Sally, Lucas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Yavarin. Yavarin, was it?
Yes, that's the elf, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yavandir, sorry. Yavandir
Yeah.
will go and try to retrieve the weapons.
Yep.
Yavandir proposes to go around the city.
Okay.
What are your ideas about that?
I mean, he's more familiar with this kind of stuff than we are. If he thinks going around the city is the best way, then going around the city is probably the best way.
All right. Because he used that way to actually reach the southern part of the city. He stated that the northern and central parts are just too dangerous to travel through them. Because we are going to have a few minute break in a second, but I want both of the groups to tell me one single thing. What are you taking with you, knowing that the Skaven kill anyone who carries a weapon? Oh, and by the way, by weapon I of course also mean armor, because the Skaven are not going to just allow someone to walk in a full plate armor through the city. So think carefully about what you want to take with you. How do you want to dress? Of course, you have a lot of rags. You have a lot of dirty cloaks, something like that. So you can blend rather easily if you want to.
Yeah, not taking the shield, that's for sure.
Let's start with the Crazy Man group. Please tell me, how do you plan to do this right? Jorn, of course, says that he's taking his 2 knives.
Does he have any armor or any other gear?
No, he's rather lightly dressed and armed. He only carries his his blades and not much else. But he can conceal them very well. Unless the Skaven will strip search him, they won't find these knives. He also expressed rather, obviously that he's not letting anyone touch his blades. And that if anyone will do, he will cut their throats.
I feel like if we're going to take a weapon, that we might as well, not restrict ourselves. I think with the
that's kind of how I was feeling about it. It's like, well, they kill me for taking one weapon. Well, then I'll take 5 and armor.
And a couple pistols.
Yeah. Although, as far as armor goes, though, got to remember armor's a little more conspicuous than, say, a hatchet and a knife. You can see armor easily. If you have a cloak, you can probably hide your knife.
Yeah, it's cold though, so
cloaks are mandatory. Essentially, right now outside it's snowing.
So
lightly, but snowing. All the same.
I think if we can cover mail as well with the cloak, you're not going to have that on the outside. You're going to have that. I would probably take. I imagine a sword. That special sword is that terribly long? You said it was like a katana, but is it a two-handed sword?
No, it's more like a short-bladed katana sword.
Okay, so I'll probably take that and maybe even a pistol with all my armor, leaving behind the shield.
All right. Of course, you will need to take all of these things under your cloak.
Yes, of course.
All right.
So pretty much the only things that I'm not wearing would be the sword and a pistol.
Okay. So now, Vincent, what are you taking with you? Leopold, what are you taking with you?
I would prefer to wear my armor and I guess take my hammer and dagger. I was thinking that maybe the crossbow is too bulky.
Yeah, it's too bulky.
Take a pistol.
All right, I'll take a pistol, a spare pistol.
All right, you've taken a spare pistol. Okay. How much ammo do you take with those weapons, boys? Like
one shot, one loaded pistol.
All right, so just one loaded pistol. All right.
Yeah.
Then finally we have Suka takes. Suka takes her short sword and dagger, and she also has light armor under her cloak. Jorn takes knives. We've already established that. Now the weapons. Because Suka said one thing, that you guys, you are going through the city, not around. Because if
and
you
I want to have Gladish load my pistol.
All right.
Wait, no, not him. The engineer.
Kippenberg. All right.
Kippenberg. Yeah.
He loaded the pistols. He checked them 3 times. Said that they should be, they should work without problems. Because Silke said one thing: if we want to reach the asylum and go back before it's dark, we need to cross the city.
As a side note, since this does have to do with gear, I'm going to get a piece of leather cord and tie it to the handle of the pistol, so it can freely, like, it'll hang at my side.
All right.
So I can just drop it and it won't go anywhere.
Sorry.
And I can have my hands free at the same time.
All right.
The other thing too is if it's late and you guys have to hide for the night, don't not do that if you think it's safer.
Yeah. And I recommend you do the same thing with the pistol, Leopold.
Okay, I will tie a
it's called a lanyard
on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, no problem. So, weapons group, what are you taking with you, Lucas?
So I'm probably only going to take my leather armor, kind of hidden under clothes and a cloak, and then a dagger stashed somewhere. And if I think I can I hide my hatchet in a way that wouldn't be seen?
Yeah, because it's a normal hatchet, like a short hatchet. Then no
Right,
problem.
yeah.
You can have it. Like I said, if they won't frisk you, it's cool. If they will, well, you're fucked.
Yeah. But so just the leather shirt, probably not the arms, probably not the legs, definitely not the studded part.
All right.
Uh.
Okay, you don't take any firearm.
No.
All right. All right. Sally, what are you taking with you?
I want to take my sling, the blackjack like tucked into my pants, and then a dagger in my belt.
All right. And of course, long, dirty cloak.
Yeah.
Torn at the edges, like all of you.
Yeah. And,
all of your pieces of clothing are.
And
I want to try and even look like a Skaven from far away, you know.
All right, sure.
and as well, we're also going to need to make sure to take something that we can wrap the swords in, and probably sling on our back under the cloak.
All right, so you've just took a 3 long pieces of fabric. Yavandir told you how long the swords are. They're actually not long swords. They're more of a shorter blades. He had a commission from one of the nobles to create them in a style of ancient Tylian gladius swords, because apparently the noble in question was a huge fan of Tylian culture. So
God, what a moron!
Yeah, so they're all pretty short, wide-bladed gladii, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So there won't be any problems with taking this with you. All right, and with that, the Crazy Man group departs. The weapons group also departs because you have to go around. Newt, from what I understood, has been sent to the stone house to try and reach the dwarves, right? With some
Correct.
kind
Yes.
of message.
Yes.
Honorius needs to go back to his working site. Karsta returns to her shop. Jill does whatever Jill does because he's pretty fucking useless. And now the other guys that you've created. Otto, old man, takes with him Heinz, Aufvik, and they go to the manor house to search for food in the basement.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, sorry. Tobo is still spying on the priestess.
Okay.
Yeah. So just FYI, if you want to go now, he will not be back. But that's and Konrad Fleischer is
Going back to work, most likely.
yeah, going back to work. The other resistance members also disperse and return to their duties or to their homes. You've established another day for contact. If you want to meet every single day, Silke is very opposed to that. She says
Yeah,
that
I don't think we need to meet every day.
yeah,
I think the only people that need to come back tomorrow are the guys doing the food searching.
yeah, she says that meetings like this should be probably established every 3 days or so. So now there's a question to the Crazy Man group. Are you waiting for Tobo to return? Because he said that he will be back during the evening, but it will be too late for you to actually go. So if you go now to the asylum, it will be on this Shalayan acolytes, goodwill, so to speak.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So Tobal was, I think, supposed to go after the swords.
No, you
No,
sent Tobo after the priestess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
sorry,
that was one-
so the weapons group goes without Tobo. Only Yavandir is with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
fine with that.
Silke says that you should risk it and go to the asylum. She says that
Yeah, I
she,
think
that
we
she
need.
can
We
believe
need to.
she can believe that the priestess of Shalaya would be a double agent. she would sooner actually, suspect any other servant of any other imperial god, but not the Sister of Mercy. So it's a risk, but it's a risk that she's willing to take.
Yeah.
Whether you are willing to take that risk, she states, is up to you. But if not, then she will go there alone.
All right.
So, you're going with her?
Yes.
All right. So you're off, and now it's time for a 5 minutes break.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go make a cup of tea.
Good.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, I'm back.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey. Are you not on Roll20?
Yeah, it should be. Did it log me out?
Yeah, you're not. Your icon isn't there.
Okay, it might have logged me out for inactivity.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Let's see here.
Do you see that? I just typed
Yeah.
in the group.
Yeah. Now your icon is here. Now you're
Okay,
back.
cool.
Yeah. Before your little icon at the bottom was not there.
Yeah, it logged me out of my computer. So it was on standby, but
All right. Do you know how heavy pistols are?
How heavy?
Yeah.
It was
Encumbrance.
minimal. If I remember
Pretty small.
correctly. It was like a hand weapon, basically.
Hello.
Okay,
Hello.
I'm back.
Hello. I think it's just waiting on Miguel.
Okay.
Let's see. A
I hope to see a
pistol.
little bit of combat today.
A pistol is not on that.
itching.
Hmm?
I said my sling finger is itching.
Yeah.
Okay, a pistol is 25 encumbrance.
That's more than I thought.
Well, a hand weapon's 50, so
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm happy to happy it's So with what I'm taking, I am
And Lucas, I have the
Good.
blackjack with me too. It's pretty easy to conceal and
Yeah.
knock people with it.
underweight, which is good. Man, that
I
full
actually have-
mail adds a lot of crap.
Yeah.
So are we role playing these missions, or are we like just gonna roll to speed it up?
I think he was going to have us
I don't
role
know.
play him.
Hell yeah!
Hopefully we roleplay him. Sounds like
Yeah.
fun.
I got my Talia reference in so far. I need to get some religious stuff in and star sign.
I'm back. Okay.
Alright.
So, let's go with the Crazy Man team first. Everyone's here?
Ta-da. Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. It's going to be thick. Okay, so you guys make your way through Talabheim.
After a montage of getting ready
Yes.
with action music.
Action music from the 80s. Always excellent. Eye of the Tiger.
And then me
perhaps.
and Leopold do a hand clasp in between and flex our muscles.
Leopold, you son of a bitch!
Yes.
Uh,
I've been pumping iron.
You
Yeah,
pushing
sweatpants
pencils?
and wrist.
CIA got you pushing too many pencils. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, you are making your way from Guildrow, around Geldvold, through the Royal Academy of Talabheim, now nothing more than a half-burned, half-wrecked husk. You are passing through the outskirts of the Low District, which has been rumored to be one of the most heavily guarded places in Talabheim, and eventually you reach the God's Row. On the way, you saw firsthand the horrors that the Skaven are visiting upon this city. There are, of course, signs of battle and destruction everywhere. Destroyed, burned out buildings, mountains of rubble. Yes, there are no dead because the Skaven are eating both their dead and the humans that they've murdered. Well, the humans, dwarves, halflings, elves. You saw patrols. In fact, the further north you traveled, the patrols were more and more present. There were other people on the streets except for you, but they were horrified, obviously starving, dirty, beaten down people. Twice you saw a Skaven patrol interrogate some poor folks that just had the misfortune to walk on the same street as they did. You saw you saw that the patrol leader. You saw one patrol leader beat a young boy just because he crossed his path, and then urinate on him, claiming him as his slave. You also saw it was in the Low District a horrible scene. A young girl screaming ran from an inside of a house and began to run towards your way. A Skaven emerged from the same house, calmly pulled out a pistol and shot her in the back. The shot had such power that the front of her body, the front of her chest, exploded. The girl fell to the ground, already dead. The Skaven calmly walked to her and began eating her, still twitching corpse.
Do you salute to more?
Yeah.
Discreetly.
Of course, as you saw that, you knew that you had to change your path slightly. Otherwise, who knows what would happen.
I drew it on the map.
Yeah. So this and many other horrible sights you saw on your way to the God's Row. The God's Row itself has been heavily damaged during the fighting. You were a part of this, so you remember the terrifying rat beasts tearing through the defenders. You remember the siege of the Sigmar's temple. There are patrols in the God's Row, but you've noticed that the Skaven almost never enter inside the temples, and they only stick to the streets. Sometimes they visit people, quote unquote, in their houses, but they never go inside the temples. So let's spice things up a bit. Please roll for perception. But only single person runs. Rolls.
Okay.
Only one?
Either Vincent or Leopold.
Hold on a second. I'll tell you what my perception is. Perception.
Take it away, because I probably shouldn't know anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I have some skill in it as well.
Oh.
What'd I roll?
92.
Oh, that's not good.
Luck?
You had some skill in it.
I do. I have 58 in it. I just rolled a crappy roll. All right, I will use a luck to roll that again.
Cool.
Yay.
Just in time, as you were traversing a street corner, just in time you saw a large patrol of 7 Skaven coming your way. You've immediately jumped back, because you knew that if they would see you, they would stop and search you, essentially. You've waited in one of the side alleys of the God's Row, and you just waited for them to pass you by. Horrible, inhuman creatures, rats on two legs, wearing shoddy armor, carrying ramshackle weapons, but still nonetheless very dangerous. Especially their leader, who you saw at the end of the patrol, with two pistols, one in each hand. You remember from the siege that actually Skaven weaponry is very unstable and can easily harm or even kill its users. But then again, you also knew from the siege that it is very, very deadly. Actually, you weren't there, but those of your resistance fellows and even the newly recruited resistance members told you that when the knights counterattacked towards God's Row at the night of the invasion, they saw Skaven sharpshooters killing them with contemptuous ease. The mysterious alchemical ammunition, because surely that's what it is, was able to pierce the full plate with incredible ease. One of the resistance members even claimed that he saw a single bullet take down two knights, going clean through one and destroying the head of the second rider that was riding behind his fellow. You don't want to test that theory about Skaven weapons on yourselves. Eventually you reach the asylum. There is of course the Shalian symbol on it. The building itself is rather grim, despite being given into service to the goddess of mercy. It is an insane asylum. The doors are wide open. Clearly the Skaven don't care if crazies inside will get out or not. Stench coming from inside is horrible. Even with the cold weather, you can smell the death coming from inside the building. You almost don't hear any sound coming from within. So far you were lucky. Of course you've passed a few Skaven patrols and they eyed you more or less suspiciously, but you haven't been stopped. You haven't been questioned or searched. But that may change. It took you a few hours to reach this place. And the sun goes down rather fast these days. Alright. Are you ready to go in?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
so.
Alright.
Leopold, when we're done here, we really need to talk about dealing with that necromancer.
Yes.
I don't like how that wasn't a priority in our last conversation.
Yes. I agree.
You enter the asylum. It's dark inside, gloomy, depressing. There are no sources of light, but fortunately you found a few candles on the reception desk. Of course, right now you're so deep inside enemy territory that it's not even worth hiding your weapons. Silke pulls out her short sword and her dagger, and she advises you to take out your weapons as well. But to be careful with firearms, because a pistol discharge in such close quarters would be well heard outside the walls. Who leads the way?
Alright.
If no one will volunteer, she will. But
I'll lead the way with my sword drawn. With my other hand, I'll have a candle in front of me.
all right.
Or actually, I'm going to hold it high above my head.
All right. You don't really know where Walter Gopfert is. and the building is rather big. It looks like you will need to split up.
Is there a reception desk or
like
any
many,
office
like
that might have?
Reception desk is, but like many buildings in city, the asylum, has not remained unscathed. As you walked inside to the reception, you saw that there was combat here. Blood splashes on the walls. The desk was destroyed. The furniture got destroyed. There are signs of flames here and there. You remember the horrible fire-casting weapons that the Skaven used, able to turn even an armored knight into ash with a single discharge. You can try and look for patients list if you want, but you know that it will take time, and time is something that you don't have.
Is this a pretty big facility?
Yeah.
Are we talking like hundreds of rooms?
Well, it is big. It's actually multi-leveled. They've kept a lot of people here. How many of these people are left alive, you don't really know. After all, the Skaven use it as a giant all-you-can-eat place. But
So,
even though it's huge.
Do you want to take the knight with you, and I'll take the psycho with me, and one of our groups? So I assume there's a upstairs.
Who are you calling a psycho, eh?
I mean, our friend.
We're surrounded by psychos.
Yeah, the extremely attractive guy with knives.
Yes.
Much better. I can go with Leopold, says Jorn, and he, places his hand around your shoulders. As you look down, you see that in his hand, of course, is one of his knives, pointed towards your crotch. I'm going to take good care of him.
Sounds great.
Excellent.
Leopold, don't forget the amulet. Not only can we hear them, but we can also speak their foul language, so that may be a tool if it comes to it.
Okay. Although I'd like to do my talking with a hammer.
Just stop.
And with that, you disperse. Silke and Vincent go one way, Jorn and Leopold go the other way. You scout, you search the dank and dark corridors of the asylum. Inside you can, the further you go inside, the more screams, wails and sobs you can hear. Many of these people are still in their cells, trapped in whatever madness afflicted them. You see signs of, Skaven activity, so to speak. Blood splashes, bones being cleaned, essentially, human bones.
We're in the VA hospital, guys.
Yeah, many cells have been opened, and of course there are no people inside, except for obvious signs of someone being killed there, eaten alive, probably. The more you scout this place, the more horrible you feel. This sense of dread, this sense of hopelessness. It's almost palpable. Now, each of the group takes a single perception test.
Okay.
Silka, do realize that our only enemies may not be the Skaven in this place. Moore should have taken many of these souls long ago.
That's not for us to decide, Vincent. Concentrate on finding Gopford.
It may come to a point where we have to decide.
It hasn't yet. You see that she's determined, but that she's also stressed a lot.
All right.
Hey, Jorn, I hope we find somebody to gut here. What do you say?
Oh yeah, I love my knives, he says.
Yeah. I like to smash them with a hammer.
I got to pass.
I would...
Oh, god damn it.
You know, if
I hear a crash in the distance.
Yeah, okay. You want to reroll that, Sean?
I pass, by the way.
Yes. I'll use another luck. Might as well use all my luck up front.
Yeah. Oh.
There, more like it.
Yeah, essentially, as Jorn tells you that he would like to kill the Skaven sorcerer, because then he would be able to tell him knife to meet you. And as he basically tells you that, you suddenly traverse the corner and almost went right into a Skaven who was prowling the corridors. The thing looked at you and squeaked, but faster than you could possibly imagine. Jorn, you were with Suke. Suke.
No, he was with
I'm
Jorn.
with Jorn.
Oh, sorry. So you're with so Jorn, yanked you back and rammed one of his blades right into the thing's throat.
Nice.
It vomited blood and fell to the ground, dead. Well, he's certainly. I actually don't have any pan. Well, shit. Anyway, we should probably.
Way to be on point.
Oh, sorry. I have one. I have one, Leopold. He should stuck around.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, you continue your search. The Skaven was fortunately alone. He was probably, helping himself to some human Norse buffet.
Mm.
But yeah, when there's one, there may be more. Vincent, you and Silke actually found a Skaven patrol. Well, patrol, just a group of 3 Skaven. Traveling through the corridors. Thanks to your amulet, you were able to.
I don't have one.
Oh, so you weren't able to hear what they were saying. All right. So anyway, they were squeaking to each other something unintelligible, and then moved past you and went in the direction of the exit. You could smell fresh blood from them, so perhaps they've just finished eating and decided to return to the streets. Of course, as they've passed you by, both you and Silke held your breaths and prayed that these horrible things will not be able to see you in the dark. And after that, you had to once again light your candles because you put them out very quickly. Fortunately, you didn't have any more unpleasant adventures. After 3 more hours, essentially, of traveling through the corridors of an insane asylum, you found Walter Gopfert. Or rather, he found you. Well, in a manner of speaking. Vincent, you were walking past a cell when you suddenly heard Skaven language. Someone speaking in a language that is obviously Skaven, but it was spoken by human lips. The cell is closed. It was actually one of the last cells on the very, very bottom of the asylum, in the basement, the most terrifying of places. You and Silke were actually, scared out of your asses by this place, because it seems that the Shalians kept the most unstable patients down there. Not only the wailing kind, but also the "I'm going to cut out your eyes and then eat them" kind. Something like this. Fortunately here, almost all of the cells were closed. But a few times some of these inmates, jumped at the doors when they've heard that you were walking past, and they've screamed that they are going to eat your tongues, or that they are going to make you hear them as well. Stuff like this. More than once you've jumped because of this horrible encounters. But at the very end of the basement, when you were actually losing hope of ever finding this Gopfert fellow, you've heard someone speaking Skaven from one of the cells. Silke looks at you, points at the cell, and basically makes a gesture that probably indicates that this is probably it. What are you going to do?
Is it a key lock, or is it one of those it's unlockable from the outside but locked from the inside type of doors?
A key lock here. Roll for perception.
As I look along the walls, let's see here. Nothing.
Alright, you check the walls. There are no keys hanging on the walls. There are key hooks, but there are no keys on them.
Silka, do you have a solution to this problem?
We could just try the door. Maybe it's open.
I'll try the door.
It's open.
Try the door.
It's open. Good.
You push the door. The door opens with a horrible squeak. Something like this. A figure, short and wiry, tries to make a break for it, squealing with fright. But you and Silke manage to catch him. He speaks gibberish, he squeaks gibberish, clearly thinking that you are Skaven.
Silence! Silence, man! Be quiet! Be quiet.
You're not them? You're not them, you're human! Oh.
Yes, we're here to get you out of here. The Skaven are walking the halls. We need to get you to a safer place. No time to talk.
You see that the man, in the weak light of the candle, you see that the man is. You can't really discern his age. His face is, he's heavily bruised. He's shaking, of course, but in the light of the candle, you can see that his eyes, his steel gray eyes, are still very sharp. They're not the eyes of someone who is crazy.
Okay.
You're not Skaven. Oh, thank the gods. So the priestess. Oh, she found you. Oh, thank Shalaya. We must get out of here, and fast.
Yes.
No, don't say that. Don't say yes. No, please. No. I've heard enough of this. Yes. No. Kill. No, thanks. Please, no. I'm Walter Gopfert, and I've been running from these things for most of my life, almost 15 years now.
Shut up, old man. Silka, go find the others. We're gonna slowly make our way to the entrance. We'll meet you there.
I will. Be careful, Vincent. She goes to the entrance. Alright, Vincent, you and Gopfert, I presume, make your way also to the entrance, right?
Yes.
Alright, after...
Then we'll wait for the others, and we're kind of curious how if it's getting dark yet, or
you don't know because there are almost no windows here.
All right.
As you make your way with Gopfert, who tries his best not to squeal with fright at at every shadow that you pass by, that you're passing by, you eventually reach the stairs to the top, and go to the main hall. Or you would, if Sandy Gopfert would not put his hand over your mouth and cried in your ear, "Shh! Get down!" You've reached the top of the stairs, so you see what frightened him so much. There's the reception hall. From your point, you can see Silke, Leopold, and Jorn crouching behind the rubble, a heap of rubble, mainly wrecked wood, destroyed furniture, some plaster which fell from the walls. They are hiding. They are hiding from a thing that prowls the main hall. This thing is huge. This thing is exactly the same creature that you saw in God's Row, the night when Talabheim fell. A rat ogre.
In other words, you've seen that they're pretty easy to kill, and you should just rush out there.
Probably.
One shot.
Yeah.
There's this thing here. Behind the thing, you can see two normal Skaven, if any such thing exists. They are wearing long leather hoods, which in a weak light coming from outside of the asylum look to be made from perhaps human skin. You're not really sure. They have whips and long prodding devices. They look around suspiciously. The ogre, walking on all fours, its front limbs long and disproportionate, are making little tremors when it walks on the ground. The Skaven are between you and your friends, but most importantly, the Skaven are between you and the exit. And that's it for today.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. Sorry to the second group. We'll start our next game with the weapons team. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it for today. Wow. I must say that was probably one of my favorite sessions so far. Like,
that was a good one.
Like, no joke. I love planning sessions, I just love it. Well, good coffee. Anyway, points. For today's game, everyone gets 60 points. Everyone gets 10 points for their characters. Now, the place of birth. Brian.
I said that I didn't want to light Gennaro's funeral pyre yet because I knew it was a contentious issue with followers or more.
Oh, okay.
Because in the Spears of the Maiden, it says that Kylians, they burn their dead and cremate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. 10 points. I like snippets of info like that. Andrew, your place of birth.
I really didn't have anything that came up.
All right. Jason and Sean, Wissenlanders.
I had one and then forgot to say it. So.
Oh.
I was gonna talk. I was gonna talk about how they were like, "Oh, it's so depressing," in the asylum. I was like, "Oh, it's just like home."
Oh, yeah. Well,
I forgot to do it. So, oh well.
Next time, next session.
Yes.
Jason? Might be a little bit of a stretch, but when Leopold tried making a joke, I tried to shoot him down right away, and then
All right.
and then when the elf was saying that he couldn't work with such, or he couldn't make other things besides weapons, I made a point about how a dwarf would do it, as if the dwarves are a more reliable.
It's good. I can give you 5 points for both of these.
Okay.
I like them. They're not. I mean, there are Vis and Landy, but not as much, so to speak.
Okay.
But they're very good. Religion, Brian.
Religion, I don't think I said anything specific.
All right, Andrew.
The closest thing I got is stripping down to just the leather armor, or just the leather shirt to go with basically as armor minimal as possible. But that was more of a tactical thing than a religious thing. So
yeah, I also thought it was more tactics thing.
Right.
All right, Jason. I will give you 10 points for the necromancer thingy. I especially liked when you spoke with Vincent that you need to, deal with the necromancer, and because that's a very real threat, something like that.
All right.
I saw that today. Yeah, it was good. Sean, Sigmar.
I just talked about smashing stuff with a hammer a couple times. The only other thing I think I said something when we were making plans. I was like, how come we're not making plans to go kill the necromancer? But overtly Sigmar, right? Not really.
Okay. So, star sign, Brian.
Rhea's Cauldron, Righteous, Fearless, Merciful. I'm really trying to push
10
for
points
different
for
ways.
Gennaro. I really like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to make that part of our overall plan.
Very good. Andrew?
Mummet the Fool, which is sensible, intuitive, and lucky.
10
I'm
points.
definitely sensible.
Yeah, just 10 points. Yeah, the man with the most sense in this group, definitely. And you're a woodcutter. Jason?
Gungren's Baldric, Militant Profession of Arms. I guess cutting off the old man from his conversation, because that's not important as getting him out.
Okay, good, good.
A lot of, I guess, contribution to the discussion and the planning. Drawing on the map.
Actually, yeah, 10 points. Okay, that's good. That's good. These were some good ideas. Sean?
Cacklefax the cockerel, just cheap. Nope. Didn't get a chance to be cheap.
Yeah, it's hard to be cheap during the invasion and occupation.
when there's no money involved, I need to figure out more inventive ways to be cheap.
Remember that you can be cheap not only when it comes to money.
Yes, true.
All right, so now Doom, Brian.
Sally, what did you get for religion, Brian?
Nothing for religion.
Okay.
Doom.
The blind maiden shall weigh thy soul. When we were talking about the slave revolt, or like somebody said, it wasn't worth going there for one person. I'm like, no, we could start a revolt and get like maybe 20 out. You know what I mean?
Okay. Pretty good. 5 points, I think. That should be, or maybe 10. Blind maiden shall weigh thy soul, right? So,
yeah.
What you wanted to say essentially was to not just save one person, but many people.
Yeah.
So,
like
10 points, yeah, because that's actually very good. After all, you will be judged after death for your deeds in life. Andrew, your doom?
The sword shall bring no justice, only suffering. I was trying to plan as stealthy as possible, because for that very reason, I didn't want violence.
You shouldn't have gone for the swords then.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in a manner of speaking, but yes, you were trying to be, as stealthy and to avoid as much contact with the enemy as possible. So I'm going to give you 10 points.
Sean, I'm trying to get swords so that they can bring suffering to the Skaven.
Yes, I understand.
Jason?
The tiniest of Tal's children will feast upon thy gut. I don't think I have anything on that one.
All right. Sean?
The hourglass shatters before thy last grain falls. I got nothing.
All right. Brian, 5 points for your halfling. And any ideas? Any good ideas that actually help the adventure to move further?
I think we'll see all our ideas probably come. The only thing, who had the idea to give the amulet to the girl?
Yeah, because
that was Vincent.
Vincent. All right.
Yeah.
So Jason, 5 points for that.
Okay.
Because
I'm glad she turned out okay.
Yeah, that was actually a very, very good idea. Well, she's a bit more crazy now, but yeah, she's okay.
Builds character.
Yeah. Okay. So other than that, I don't think that there were any more ideas. I
think any ideas that we had this session really won't come to fruition until next session.
Yep. And so that's it for today. That's it for the points. This document should be editable, by the way. Yeah, it is. So now my question is, obviously we are going to play after Christmas. And I think that we are going to play actually in the new year. Because if you look at the calendar, next week we have 17th, then it's 24th. So of course that's a no-go. And then it's 31st. The end of the year. So that's also a no-go.
Right.
So my proposition is that we could play on 7th of January.
Yeah, I think I should be able to do that.
Because
that's currently free for me, so yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, because like I said, I don't see any other day for us to play this year, unless of course some of you guys would be willing to play on Saturdays.
Now with a family, it's.
But even with that, it would be hard. I mean, 23rd, day before Christmas, and then 30th. No, I don't think so.
Is next weekend too early for folks?
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. And at this point, I really want to have all of you guys during the games. I mean, if at all possible, of course. So we shall play on 7th.
Yeah.
Standard time. This will be the first game in the new year, so I'm hoping that it will be a good one. Yeah. Thanks for the characters. They are all very cool. Very, very cool. And like I've said, this session was excellent. Really, I love it. The ideas, I don't mind splitting the party. If it has to be done, it has to be done. It's just, it happens. And yeah.
Yeah, it was also Vincent trying to pull more attention to like the necromancer and trying to use the Countess as an excuse to go after the necromancer.
Of course.
without actually just saying we should go after the necromancer.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. If you will save the Countess, assuming that she's still alive, I don't think that she'll be able to rule after all of Talabheim seeing her kneel before a Skaven sorcerer and calling him her master or her lord, actually. So
yeah, but she's rich.
What?
I said she's rich.
Well, yeah. The Church of Sigmar will happily take care of her riches after they burn her on the stake. Or maybe not, who knows? We shall find out soon. Yeah, because we are getting very close to the end of this campaign. But I'm not going to tell you how long we will play. Because I don't like doing that.
Well, and if we spend 2 hours planning every session, then it'll be quite a while. So.
Yeah, exactly. Besides, no rush. It's all for fun.
Yeah, we didn't drag that out too long, did we?
No. Like I said, I definitely don't think that you did. Okay, guys. Anyway, thanks for the game. That's it from me. We shall see each other or hear from each other after the New Year.
Yes.
But of
All right.
course, I will wish you all Merry Christmas and Happy New Year later. So, not now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Call me if you need anything, as usual. I'll be also waiting for notes. Jason, you are making notes now?
Yes.
So that was your last time, right?
Yeah. After I post this sessions, that'll be
Alright.
my third time.
So remember that it's 30 points for you, additional, and on 7th, another one of you will be writing notes. Okay.
Okay.
See you later, people. Thanks.
All right.
Great.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.